Therions are just kind of popping up everywhere in the OCG right now. You know, originally we looked at this deck and we were like, is this really going to like warp things? But it looks like that this deck has kind of taken the meta by the balls and is like, no, we are going to make a change here. And in this video, you're going to see all sorts of interesting things. But first, we got some Dinoruffia for you guys. You guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Alright, so OCG Thursday. The first list we're going to be looking at here is Dinoruffia, and I've been playtesting the crap out of a list that really caught my attention in the very early stages of this deck. Frenzy is a busted card. Being able to make this floodgate guy here, so your opponent can activate the effects of monsters they control with attack more than or equal to my life points. And then you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. So quick effect, you can pay half your life points. The attack and defense of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls becomes equal to my life points until the end of this turn. And if this card is destroyed by battle card effect, I can special summon a level 6 or lower Dinoruffia monster from my graveyard. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can technically fold back into Congrina here, and then trigger her effect to banish a trap card and cost some more shenanigans. But this entire deck is just one vacuum after another of things that you can set up. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. We have one copy of Crusadia Arborea. By the way, this is a tuner monster. We have two copies of Diplos and triple copies of Therion. We also have two copies of Effect Veiler, one copy of Ghost Bell, two copies of Ghost Ogre, triple copies of Maxi, and we're actually playing two copies of Sangan. Alright? I mean, you can search for any sort of hand trap that you might want here to be able to play the game. That's actually interesting. We have two Called by the Grave, one Crossout Designator, two Emergency Teleport, two copies of Pot of Prosperity, triple copies of Frenzy, one copy of Brute, triple copies of Domain, one Sonic, one Imperial Order, triple copies of Infinite Permanence, one Rivalry, and one Vanity's Emptiness, wrapping up the main deck here. Down here in the extra deck, we have one Almirage, one Hulk, one Wonder Magician with the one Shooting Riser. We have the Psychic End Punisher back here, actually. This is very interesting. We also have one Final Ligma. Okay, we also have triple Stealth Griga, triple Congrina, and triple copies of Rexstrom here. Side deck here we have one Pankratops, triple Nibiru, two copies of Token Collector, the one Harpy's Feather Duster, triple Lightning Storm, two Anti-Spell Fragrance, and triple copies of Evenly Matched here. Wrapping up actually probably one of the better options for the format in terms of things that you can kind of mess around with and find success with. This deck is actually probably one of my favorite control variants in modern era Yu-Gi-Oh! Next up here is, you guessed it, this is Therion's Brave token. So you use the Brave engine or the Adventure engine to set up some Omni Negates, and you kind of just laugh at your opponent with not knowing what they can do. So we have two copies of Aquamancer, triple copies of Ash Blossom, a very small branded package of one Fallen of Albaz, triple copies of Maxi. We have one Bullseye, one Duke Jewel, two copies of Regulux, two copies of Leaperfam, triple copies of Lily Borea. Then we have one Griffin Rider. We have triple copies of Brand Diffusion, two copies of Called by the Grave, one Crossout Designator, the one Draco Back, the one Foolish Bro, triple copies of the Perpetual Engine Yubba Yubba, triple copies of Pot of Prosperity, two copies of Rite of Armesia, one copy of Terraforming, triple copies of Therion's Ring, the Colosseum Saucer. And then we have one copy of Therion's Cross, one copy of Vanity's Emptiness, wrapping up the main deck. Down here in the extra deck, we have the one World Gears of Therugia Dermaturgia. So this is 3 level 5s, cannot be used as link material. Alright, this link summon card is unaffected by other monster effects. And you can only use each of the following effects of World Gears of Therugia Dermagi once per turn. So during your main phase, if you control this card was link summoned using 3 monsters that had 3 different attributes and destroy all other cards on the field. If your opponent special summons a monster or monsters from the extra deck, except during damage step, special summon a World Legacy monster from your deck. This thing is big, by the way. We have one Verte, the one Link Spider, the one Nightmare Unicorn, the one IP, the one Asa, the one Artemis, the one Access Code, the one Dragogon, one number 38, one number 100, and then we have Mirjade, Lubellion, Brigand, and Albion. Side deck here we have one Pankratops, one Droll, one Godarla, the one Ghost Spell, and the one Ghost Ogre, two copies of Nibiru, two copies of Token Collector, two Forbidden Droplets, one Feather Duster, and triple copies of Twin Twister here, wrapping up Therion's the interesting pile. Now, speaking of Therion's interesting piles, here's ABC with that Grasslick screener sporting off the Therion's archetype. We just kind of expanded out the package and just went so much further with this. So we have 2 copies of Assault Core, 2 copies of Aquamancer, triple copies of Ash Blossom, 2 copies of Bee Buster Drake, 1 Sea Crush Wyvern, the 1 Effect Veiler, 2 Fallen of Albaz, 1 Illegal Knight, triple copies of Maxi, 1 Bullseye, the 1 Duke Jewel, triple copies of Regulux, 1 copy of Leaper Fawn, triple Borea, 2 Union Driver, and the 1 Griffin Rider. Now we have triple Branded Fusion, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Crossout Designator, 1 Draco Back, 1 Foolish Grail, 1 Journey Destiny. We have triple copies of the Argeos system, triple copies of Pot of Prosperity, 2 copies of Rite of Armesia, 1 Set Rotation, the 1 Terraforming, 2 copies of that Grasslook Screener, triple copies of the Coliseum Saucer, triple copies of Union Hanger, and then we have triple copies of Infinite Permanence, and 1 copy of Vandy's Emptiness here. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Union Care, must be nice, OCG. We have 1 Verte, 1 Link Spider, the 1 Boral Sword, 1 Barricade Borg Blocker, 1 Dracostopelia, 2 Mirror Jade, 2 copies of Lubellion, 1 copy of Brigand, 2 Albion, 1 copy of Abyssal Dragon here. We have 1 ABC Dragon Turd. Still can't believe it's limited to 1. Then we have triple Alpha. This thing's spot removal is good. We have 2 Nibiru, triple copies of the Big Ball, 2 Token Collectors, 1 Arby's Feather Duster, triple Twin Twisters, and 1 copy of Red Reboot here, wrapping up the main deck. Alright. Cursed Old Land. Man, these decks get more and more interesting. So this is Therion's with another splash of Branded here, but our Therion's package has been reduced pretty harshly here. So we have 2 copies of Aquamancer of the Sanctuary, 2 copies of Eldritch the Golden Lord, 1 Fallen of Albaz, 1 Illegal Knight, 1 Spriggan's Kit, 1 Regulux, 1 Borea, the 1 Griffin Rider, triple copies of Brand of Fusion, 2 Call by the Grave, 2 copies of Cursed Old Land, 1 Draco Back, 1 Black Awakening, 2 White Destiny, the 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Foolish Burial Goods. We have triple Forbidden Droplet, 2 Journey, triple Perpetual, triple copies of Pot of Prosperity, triple Reasoning, 2 copies of Right, 2 Grass, triple Therion's Ring, triple Golden Conch Boy, triple Scarlet, 2 copies of Golden Land Forever, triple Hugwero, 1 Imperial Order, triple Skill Drain, and 1 Vanity's Emptiness here, wrapping up the main deck. Interestingly enough here, this looks like Master Duel meta tier 0. Good stuff. We have 1 Verti Anaconda, 1 Link Spider, 1 Barricade Borg Blocker, the 1 Artemis, 1 copy of River Stormer, 1 Gaia Charger, 1 Zeus, 1 copy of the Sprint, and then we have 1 copy of Dragostopelia, 2 copies of Mirror Jade, 1 copy of Lubellion, 1 Brigand, and 2 copies of Albion here. Side deck here we have triple Lava Golem, triple Anti-Spell Fragrance, triple Evenly Matched, triple Solemn Judgment, and triple copies of There Can Only Be One, wrapping up one of the biggest piles of cards I've ever seen in my life. You have 10 monsters to hit off of your Reasoning. And how many of these are all different levels? Like, the value you're going to get on Reasoning, I feel like in any hand that you see it. Like, look at that. We don't even have Reasoning here, but this just gives you a little bit of an idea of the insanity you can see with this list. And the last list we have for you guys here, this is just simple Branded. Actually, we're playing a Spiral package here. What in the world? Okay, I guess for free special summons. So we have triple copies of Alistair the Mighty Normal Summon, triple copies of Alubra, Juster, Despia, triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 triple copies of Effect Veiler, 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz, triple copies of Ghostball and the Haunted Mansion, 2 copies of Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill, triple Maxi, and we have 1 Spiral Super Agent, triple copies of Branded Fusion, 2 copies of Call by the Grave, 1 Crossout, 2 Invocation, 2 Meltdowns, 1 Set Rotation, 1 copy of Spiral Resort, 1 Terraforming, and then we have 1 Branded Exile, okay, and triple copies of Infinite Permanence here, wrapping up the main deck. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Verti Anaconda, 1 Artemis, 1 Dragostopelia, 2 Mirror Jade, 1 Lubellion, 2 copies of Makaba, 1 copy of Elysium, 1 Kaliga, 1 copy of Ogoides, 1 Cordartis, and triple copies of Albion. Side deck here we have triple Artifact Lancia, 1 copy of Ghost Ogre, 2 copies of Nibiru, frickin' triple copies of Diffusion. Oh, we're getting saucy out here. We We also have triple copies of Forbidden Droplet, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and actually 2 base rarity MSTs in here, wrapping up this chunk of OCG deck profiles for you guys. I know there's a lot to unpack here, ladies and gentlemen, but the meta is shifting in some really interesting ways right now. Some of the more failures that we thought were going to kind of flop have actually been spinning on upwards here, which is actually very interesting. So guys, what do you think? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the like and grab that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today with some more cool awesome content. Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.